Welcome to SIGA Centre, where strategy meets reality. In the next few minutes, we'll debunk some myths. Stay tuned, because today we're going to reveal a few facts that no one tells you about international relations. By the end of this video, you'll know what's really driving the decisions made by world leaders. Before we dive into our first point, let's set the stage. Imagine the world as a giant chessboard. Every nation is a player. Let's kick off with a quote from Otto von Bismarck, the legendary German statesman. He once said, "Only a chronic liar can keep a whole empire of lies going." That statement might seem like a cynical remark about politicians, expose hidden agendas and unveil the raw realities of international politics. It's time to separate the rhetoric from the action. Trust me, the difference is staggering. But in the world of international relations, in the rough and tumble world of international relations, nations don't stick to principles. They pursue their own interest, even if it means supporting a dictator, violating international norms, or destabilizing a region. Soft power is the silent but deadly weapon of choice for many nations. The Kyoto Protocol, the Geneva Convention, the Paris Agreement, failed states are useful. Here's a shocking truth you won't learn anywhere else. Some powers actually benefit from instability. Alliances are supposed to be the cornerstones of stability, those partnerships that form the bedrock of peace. They are less drastic than military intervention, yet still carry a hefty dose of punishment. But in reality, sanctions often fail to achieve their objectives. Authoritarian regimes adapt. Black markets thrive. Populations suffer, but the leadership stays put. Take the sanctions against Iran and North Korea. Despite crippling economic measures, neither government has budged. Now, here's a question. Why do these sanctions fail so often? The answer usually lies in two words: exemptions and loopholes. Sanctions are often tailored in such a way that they don't completely cripple a nation. Exemptions are granted for humanitarian reasons or strategic partnerships. Loopholes are exploited through clever trade networks and financial maneuvers. In fact, a 2015 study by the UN researchers found that sanctions against both countries left ordinary citizens, disproportionately women and children, bearing the brunt of their negative effects. So while sanctions make for good headlines, their effectiveness in changing behavior is questionable, especially when they don't enjoy widespread global support. But in the dynamic world of international relations, nothing is set in stone. Alliances shift, strategies change, and enemies become allies. Each player has their cards close to their chest, and the stakes are high. If you found these insights valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. And remember, in the intricate game of international relations, knowledge is power. So keep learning, keep thinking critically, and above all, stay informed. Take World War I, for instance. The Triple Entente and the Triple Alliance seemed unshakable until they weren't. In a blink, old alliances were broken and new ones forged. And even today, NATO, the supposed guarantor of European security, is facing challenges. From disagreements over defense spending to disputes over Ukraine, the alliance is far from being the monolithic bloc it once was. The harsh reality is that alliances are transactional, influenced by factors like power, economy, and security. So remember, no alliance is sacred. No partnership is permanent. It's all about what's in your interest. Why? Because failed states, with their weak governance and non-existent rule of law, create power vacuums. These vacuums can then be filled through covert operations, proxy wars, or even resource grabs, all under the guise of humanitarian intervention or peacekeeping missions. For example, the ongoing conflict in Syria has benefited Russia and Iran. It's given them a foothold in the region and a chance to test new weapons. Even the infamous 2003 invasion of Iraq, despite its colossal missteps, provided valuable intelligence and operational experience for the U.S. military. Now, here's a chilling thought. If certain powers benefit from chaos, does that mean they might actually help create it? They sound important, but here's the truth. While treaties are undoubtedly useful tools of foreign policy, they aren't necessarily based on unwavering beliefs or moral compasses. Nations sign on to them based on perceived benefits and strategic interests. Take the Iran nuclear deal, for example. It wasn't just about preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons. was also about containing Iranian influence in the region and securing energy supplies. Similarly, the Paris Climate Accord, while it aims to limit global warming, it's also a tool for countries to gain a competitive edge in the green energy sector. Even the INF Treaty, which eliminated an entire class of nuclear missiles, had significant political implications for the Cold War rivalry. The bottom line, treaties are flexible tools and nations play hardball when it suits their interest. Think about it. Strong economy makes a country attractive. Thriving cultural scene can sway opinions. Academic and professional partnerships can build long-lasting ties. The U.S., for instance, uses its cultural prowess and academic institutions as soft power tools. The same goes for Japan with its technology and South Korea with its pop culture. It's all about shaping perceptions and influencing others without resorting to force. In fact, a 2012 report by the Congressional Research Service found that the U.S. spent over $200 million annually on public diplomacy programs, highlighting the importance of soft power. Here's the hard truth. In the realm of international relations, perception is reality. Soft power is the sculptor of that perception. Think about it. When it comes to foreign policy, morality is often the convenient cover, while interest is the driving force. The classic example, the United States backing Saudi Arabia, despite its appalling human rights record. Why? Because of the strategic and economic interests in the region. The oil, the trade routes, and the geopolitical rivalry with Iran. It's a balancing act for the U.S., and they're willing to overlook a lot in the name of interest. Every alliance is a piece. Remember when we talked about diplomacy being a performance? Well, behind that performance is a lot of homework done by intelligence agencies. Spying, data collection, and analysis. It's all part of the preparation before diplomats take the stage. Here's the truth they won't tell you. Intelligence agencies have an outsized influence on foreign policy. They gather intel, assess risks, and brief policymakers, often behind the scenes. Their reports shape decisions that impact your life, from trade deals to military alliances. In today's digital age, it's even more critical. Signals intelligence, or SIGINT, as it's called, has become a goldmine for nations. Intercepting communications gives a leg up in negotiations. Knowing what your counterpart is thinking before they speak is invaluable. But here's a sobering thought. If intelligence agencies have such a big role, how much of what we see in diplomacy is genuine, and how much is a well-crafted deception? And the moves they make, well, they're dictated by a set of rules that only the most astute can decipher. You think the game is played on fixed rules? Think again. This isn't your typical chess match. In the game of international relations, the rules are fluid, the pieces are movable, and the goalposts are constantly shifting. So what are these hidden realities that influence the decisions of these global players? Let's find out. There's a layer beneath these words that holds the key to understanding global politics. Diplomacy is a performance, a famous diplomat once said. Diplomacy is the art of saying nice doggy until you can find the right stick. Sounds funny, but it's true. Now here's something they won't teach you in any academy. A large chunk of diplomacy is about image. Those grand summits, those carefully worded statements, it's all part of a show. The real deal happens behind closed doors. Think about it. A lot of diplomatic efforts are about perception management, not policy making. Case in point, the UN Security Council. On the outside, it's a platform for global governance. On the inside, it's a battle of vetoes and national interests. Even the famed World Trade Organization, TOE, with its complex rules and dispute settlement mechanism, it's not immune. A 2019 report found that developing countries were losing trade cases at the WTO despite having valid claims. Why? Because developed nations with more resources could better navigate the system. So remember, not all that glitters in diplomacy is gold. National interests greater than morality. Ever wondered why powerful nations support controversial leaders or overlook human rights abuses? Boils down to one word: interest. Know that intelligence drives diplomacy. Know that soft power is a weapon. It's often overlooked in favor of hard power, military, and economic strength. Know that treaties are tools, not truths. How many international agreements have you heard of? Know that alliances are temporary. Remember, most sanctions fail. Economic sanctions are seen as the go-to tool of foreign policy. International relations are a lot like a game of poker. Now that you've seen the deck, the question is, how will you play your hand? We hope this video has been an eye-opener. Thanks for joining us at SIGA Centre, where strategy meets reality. We'll catch you in the next one.